And so, yeah, when I heard there was a pop-up coming, I had to come. A lot of the biggest sport brands are all here in Shanghai and China that we don't have access to in Sydney, Australia. Also, a lot of collaborations and things that we see in these cities as well. I'm loving Shanghai, every moment of it.
I love shopping on Anfu, a lot of the boutique stores, and I love near to Jing'an Temple. I love going there. You can kind of get different styles all across the city, local brands, international brands, great quality products, 100%. Quality lifestyle, quality fashion, all the way.
The pop-up event will also be held in London, Milan, New York, Seoul, Singapore, and Tokyo.
Shanghai is strutting its stuff on the global sports stage and is dead set on becoming an international sports mecca. And that's not just a bunch of talk, it can walk the walk.
The city hosts a slew of A-list international sports events. Take the Shanghai International Marathon, for example. Every year, it's like a carnival of endurance, where runners from all corners of the earth lace up their shoes and hit the pavement, sweating and smiling as they meander through city streets.
It's amazing, 30,000 people and it's such a seamless experience. It's incredible.
The 2024 Shanghai Marathon is the only marathon in China that is a candidate for inclusion in the Abbott World Majors.
It's a first step on the journey for Shanghai as a candidate event, and the team here have done an amazing job at this year's event already.
Then there's the Formula One Chinese Grand Prix, where the roar of engines is music to the ears of motorsport aficionados. And don't forget the first ever Formula E World Championship in Shanghai, where you don't need to wear earplugs at all.
So quiet.
Other than it's the biggest EV market in the world, which is incredibly important, the biggest motorsport fan base in the world, and just an incredible place to come and race.
And of course, Rolex Shanghai Masters has produced some of the most epic rallies in tennis, where Swiss legend Roger Federer returned for an exhibition doubles match.
Just to see Roger Federer play and hit some balls is a really special thing because he's the most elegant player ever.
The F1 Chinese Grand Prix and the Shanghai Rolex Masters achieved combined revenue of 520 million yuan in 2024, a record high. For the very first time, the Shanghai Longines Global Champions Tour ran until 9 p.m., allowing spectators to watch the action at night at this newly built futuristic-looking venue in Pudong.
We started 10 years ago, and we are very pleased that they have a vision to bring something like this. Obviously, Europe has more history, but China is catching up very, very fast.
Some city-developed sports events have also popped up, covering basketball, cycling, and virtual sports. The Meta SVS 2024 Shanghai Virtual Sports Open featured virtual rowing, cycling, racing, skiing, and golf, alongside new additions like jumping rope and soccer.
You might not be in the same area together. Through virtual sports, you're able to still compete. So I think it's really important for building a stronger community of schools together in the region.
目前我们还在考虑像虚拟舞蹈啊，包括可能虚拟跆拳道、虚拟无人机这样的一些项目。我们可能会有更多的国际运动员参与到我们全年的赛事当中来。
International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach had nothing but high praise for Shanghai during the Olympic qualifier series in May 2024.
Shanghai is a place in the city open to the world, and we know Shanghai, the people of Shanghai being passionate about sport. So therefore, it was somehow a no-brainer to decide where we would go first.
All these events have been a magnet for top-notch athletes worldwide, turning Shanghai into a hotbed of sporting excellence. But it's not just about the big names and high-profile competitions. A total of 60 million yuan in sports vouchers were issued in 2024 by the Shanghai government, an initiative to encourage more people to take part in different sports.
Shanghai also continues to spruce up its sports facilities. They are even being squeezed into the most unexpected places, like underneath elevated highways, in the nooks and crannies of parks, and on street corners.
特别是像我们这样的运动，它是需要场地有一定的层高的，所以说对于我们这种极限运动来说特别合适。然后它高架下面也不会淋雨，所以说在下雨天我们也可以去训练。
The vibrant sports scene has the locals all fired up. It's a 24/7 fitness fiesta, and everyone is invited.
像矮人的话，自己的话就是比较适合这样的一个场地，然后包括它后面也会有更大的一个场馆，然后很适合我们不同的这个网球的爱好者去学习吧。
With all these options at their fingertips, the people of Shanghai are jumping on the fitness bandwagon faster than you can say touchdown, goal, or slam dunk.
If you were traveling in China by air before last year, chances are that you were on board a plane made either by Airbus or Boeing.
But things changed in May 2023 when C919, the first made-in-China large passenger jet, made its maiden commercial flight.
It was a trip from Shanghai to Beijing. And now every day there are more than 10 regular C919 flights between Shanghai and Beijing, Chengdu or Xi'an.
My first trip through a C919, flying to Beijing.
Last time I saw one of these aircraft was in December 2022.
The China Eastern Airlines officially took the delivery of the very first C919, making today a historic day for China's civil aviation.
And in just 15 months, another 4 have been delivered.
It's all happened very quickly and could shake up the entire commercial aviation industry.
未来整个天空的这个飞行网络肯定是由3家交织在一起的。那么 A 呢，我们就是空客，然后 B 就是波音，那 C 就是中国自己的国产大飞机。
波音和空客会不会感到压力吗？
早晚吧。
We don't know how long that would take, but the Chinese-made passenger jet got plenty of attention at the recent air show in Singapore. It took China more than 16 years to put a large passenger jet in front of the world.
I saw many news in TV and YouTube also that Chinese plane competing with Boeing and Airbus. So the first time I saw this plane, and there is no difference. I think Boeing and Airbus and with Chinese plane. Flying and the landing is good.
I don't feel much. It's like a regular trip.
It's actually the made in China plane. Do you feel anything?
This is the first one?
I told you the first one.
Yeah, that's what we are talking about.
I could see it was a little different, so I told my colleague that I can see it's not a Boeing, it's not an Airbus.
Are you expecting another trip with the C919?
Of course, yes.
Take another one?
Yes, I arranged already.
These passengers from around the world were all on my flight. And some are regular passengers.
今天去北京出差，
这是第2次坐C919了，之后还会选C919吗？
如果方便的话，肯定会首选这个。觉得还是比较舒服嘛，然后和其他的航班其实差不多。
This is the B919E, and it's the 4th C919 delivered to China Eastern Airlines.
My flight was almost full, and the crew told me that's the norm.
航线是成都天府、北京大兴还有西安都有直飞过，基本上来说都是满客的。
The aircraft maker Comac and the airline have clearly made an effort to improve the passenger experience, right down to the design of the baggage compartments and the seats. And it's also proved more friendly to the crew.
它的服务舱区会更加的宽敞一些，方便乘务人员的工作。这个客舱门面板是有所不同的。第一个是客舱门关闭状态的显示，当客舱门关闭的时候，它是显示绿色的；客舱门开启的时候，它会显示红色。
Comac has received orders for more than 1,200 C919 jets. China Eastern Airlines is a big purchaser, having ordered 105 of the jets.
As you can see here, different groups of pilots are preparing for their flights, which are about to depart from Shanghai's Hongqiao Airport this afternoon. And among them, these 3 are busy preparing for a C919 flight from Shanghai to Beijing in about 2 hours.
513拐5138599翼飞，
已经在 C919 航班上累计运行340个小时的航班，120个左右的架次。
A pilot for almost a decade and a half, he's qualified to speak about the Made in China jet.
从它的设计，然后对我们操纵性能上来讲，是会非常航班运行起来是非常平稳的。
The vast Chinese aviation market has become a natural advantage of the plane's development.
大飞机可以累积很多数据，包括可以得到很多来自下游的巨大市场的一个资金的反哺。那么这些东西呢，最终就可以提升我们整个飞机的一个飞行的，比如说便捷性，或者是提升它的一个经济性。那么最终国内市场运营的很好之后，其实无非就是到海外就是做一个市场的平移嘛。那么这个就是一个很水到渠成的。
In 2020, China became the largest domestic air travel market for the first time, according to the International Air Transport Association. Airbus and Boeing have constantly expressed their ambition in the market. Boeing said in its report that China will account for 1/5 the world's airplane demand through 2042, helping power demand for 6,470 single-aisle airplanes.
919的航程是完全可以覆盖一些国际航班的。然后跟国内航班相比而言，可能一些机场的运行细则，以及航路上的一些通讯要求，可能些许差异，但是我们都是经过培训，这些都是完全没问题的。
Last September, Brunei-based Gallop Air inked a deal with COMAC on 15 C919 jets. That startup airline was backed by an investment group in China's Shanxi province. It seems what the plane is now waiting for is more international airworthiness certificates to be able to further open up its overseas market. But some experts say it's just a matter of time.
会很近吗？你觉得？
我觉得应该会很快，好消息应该会很快的。
Town adds that the market can find some clues from the ARJ-21, the regional jet developed by COMAC. After years of development and experience in China, the regional jet was officially delivered to its first overseas customer in December 2022.
中国、韩国和日本。
美国联邦政府关门的危机。
俄乌冲突将是笼罩此次峰会的阴影。敦促其他国家要避免火上浇油。
在这个半个地球以外的华盛顿给找到了。
他们希望让自己的生活变得更加美好。
你好吗？
This was the first group of students I took to China.
My journey is deep into China. Not too many people get this view.
Very inspiring to look at.
Yes, this one's ready.
Mr. Christopher Nolan.
It's very exciting to be back in Shanghai.
I'm at NYU Shanghai. Give you an exclusive tour inside.
让更多的外国人更加理解了上海话的路。
对接“一带一路”倡议，大家可以看一下，我们这儿有两个小脚架，中国制造，
搭载着天河核心舱的长征5号 B 遥2运载火箭从这里点火起航。
First villages in the city to be renovated as
高士比的语言告诉。
Welcome to the premiere of Chinese puzzle.
Learning the differences.
对我佩服，但月光下却一直害怕自己退步。你别。
SMG International.
Huangpu Marathon combines the International Roller Skating Marathon Tour.
Regarde, cet événement a l'air génial.
Oui, et Shanghai est juste magnifique.
Ça me donne vraiment envie d'y participer.
The Zootopia Park at the Shanghai Disney Resort.
В Китае отличная инфраструктура. Путешествовать очень удобно.
Время планировать поездку в Китай.
Are you ready to begin your studies in China?
I've already begun learning Chinese.
You can learn by following the Shanghai Eye 24-hour live stream.
和中国的天通，我们在拼一天打天下。
在世界的东边，有个文明古国，它叫中国。
Like it blows my mind.
中国制造非常安全的国家。
China has been a leader in embracing investment.
Decoupling of the economies is not a solution.
Die Freundschaft mit China nützt unserer Wirtschaft.
Ich habe jetzt ein besseres Verständnis für viele Kooperationskonzepte.
I would say China's a lot stronger today in innovation.
You should really check out these explanatory reports.
Joe Biden's official presidential car is Cadillac One, otherwise known as the Beast. So is its Chinese counterpart the Beauty?
How big is a gram of gold?
In this incident, one could understand this as Western bias.
Wow, China is so different from what I imagined. Yes, we should understand China from multiple perspectives.
What everyone is really keen to find out at the moment is what are going to be the impacts of a second Donald Trump presidency in the United States. He's promised some pretty significant tariff increases, 60% on Chinese goods going into the US. Now, obviously, that's a lot more than the around 20% that we currently see. What tools does China have to to deal with this?
And particularly if you look back 2024, export has been an important lifting factor for China economic performance. So if you're facing the new rounds of the tariff escalation, of course, it will impose a lot of pressure, particularly China export to the U.S., right? That like we saw in 2018 and then 2019, and this time the tariff increase might be doubled actually compared to last time. So of course, this is a very important risk we need to watch out. And on the other side, if export losing momentum, what China will react. Of course, there's several directions we also need to watch out. One is that whether CNY will devalue, like we saw in 2018 and 2019, to partially offset the tariff impact. And particularly in China's case, what measures China can take to mitigate actually the tariff hit on the export to the U.S. But probably more importantly, what measure China will take to expand the exports in the non-U.S. market. So this is on the export side.
2024 has been a fairly gloomy year. It's been one characterized, at least in the second half of the year, by challenges and by pretty poor sentiment on many fronts. What do you think are the prospects for turning things around and having a bit more of an optimistic year in 2025?
In the corporate sector, as we argue that more the balanced or the equal treatment between SOE and non-SOE, and particularly also the more balanced policy support across different industries. The government spent a lot of efforts to promote the manufacturing upgrade, but in the modern economy, actually, the service sector innovation is equally important. So we highly recommend actually the government also have delivered a balanced support between the manufacturing and the service upgrades. For household, consumer confidence has been on the soft side, and that's in part because of the employment expectation. It's not actually because Chinese does not have the job opportunity, but there's a mismatch. The mismatch between the job being offered and what the job you want. I would say that the policy redirection, more balanced support between investment and consumption, more balanced support between manufacturing and service industry. These are probably the most important policy change. And that the good news is that some of them probably doesn't cost too much money. It's more about the policy directional change.
You've mentioned earlier that income growth and the prospect of wage growth is going to be really key to turning things around. And of course, you've also mentioned the mismatch between the manufacturing sector and the service sector. Now, the service sector, of course, is a massive employer here in China. How do we go about, really injecting some fuel into the Chinese economy by way of income growth?
Particularly 2010 to 2020, this is the decade actually we see the rebound in the consumption as percentage GDP, and also rebound in household income as a percentage GDP. That also coincides with the rapid growth in the service industry. Service actually is only the sector to create new jobs. So that was 10 years, which is probably serves as a good example. This 10 years, we see actually consumption grow very strong, and also everybody talk about consumption upgrade, right? So I think that if you do the comparison in the last 2 or 3 years, actually the uneven treatment between manufacturing and the service sector, we see actually that's an important reason for the current situation. So that is actually where we should aim to change through this, particularly this policy round. We talk about supporting consumption and boosting domestic demand.
Professor Zhilaji, thank you for joining us. We know that you're here for Hongqiao International Economics Forum, and the World Openness Index for 2023 is going to be released at that forum. But according to the figure that released during the past 3 years, it seems like the world openness is shrinking. Do you think the trend of economic and trade globalization has been reversed?
I think if we use the old definition of globalization, like any country trading with any other country in the world, we indeed see some reduction in the intensity of trade. But if we go deeper, we actually see that this decline has been substituted by an increase of trade within regions. There is a tendency, natural tendency, for countries to trade more with neighboring countries. So I see more of a multipolar development of trade. Europe will trade a bit more within itself, the US with Canada, Mexico, and with Europe, China with Asia, Africa, and so on. So I take a little bit more positive stance of this apparent negative trend of globalization.
So say multilateral trade.
Multilateral trade and the emergence of many centers of trade.
Then here comes the question about Belt and Road Initiative. Well, to my understanding, it's relatively very loose. It's MOU. I think in that sense, maybe it's also your reason to support BRI from the very first place. You think it's very important that your countries there witness all those, what's happening.
You are absolutely right. I tell you, even if in the worst case, the Belt and Road have brought zero economic benefit to Italy directly, I, as a former vice minister, and to try to help my companies, I wanted to be involved in what was going on. It's the biggest infrastructure development project of mankind for the last 100 million years. It's about developing Asia, it's about developing Africa, it's also about developing certain parts of Europe. It's about 6.5 billion people that need transport, highways, ports, airports, high-speed rail. And I wanted to study and learn the China-Pakistan economic corridor. I want to know what China is doing in Africa with the Mombasa railway in Kenya. I want to know what investment there are in green energy. I want to witness, at the very least, so that I can learn.
What do you think are the industries or fields that we could work together in the future?
I was going to say electric vehicles, because we need them. China has them. They're good, they're cheap, and we don't want to depend on oil. We want to have electricity, which can be produced from many sources. Oil, but also gas, solar, nuclear, and others. So at the same time, we need to protect our own industry, our car manufacturing industry, that is not ready to do EV. And let's be honest, Chinese EV are the best in the world. Even the Tesla made here in Shanghai tend to be the best in the world, because you have an ecosystem, an environment. You have CATL that makes batteries, so you have the whole integration, the expertise. You have cluster. And some people say, oh, that's a competition, it could be dangerous. Yes, but if we know that someone competes with us, we are pushed to make them even better. This is the concept of win-win, that it is very difficult for some countries to accept, because they focus on the negative side of the cooperation, and there is also the positive side.
Let's hope more people understand this is not a zero-sum game here. We could find a way to multilaterally win. Thank you very much, Professor, for sharing, and really appreciate it. Hope to see you again at CIE venue very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a rainy day here in Shanghai, but some of the global companies here are aiming to dispel some of that gloom. The meeting that they're attending is focused on China as an opportunity. And the leaders of some of these companies, you'll be familiar with some of them, are here to exchange thoughts and ideas on developing Shanghai and developing China as an international business centre. What's your view for the future of the Chinese consumer market?
やはり今まで以上にすごくこう質の高い暮らしを求めるお客様が増えているっていう感じをしているのと、あとはすごい環境保護だとかそういったものに関心の高いお客様っていうのが増えてますので、そういった意味ではもともとの無地の企業理念と非常に合致してますから、そういったところのお客様に共感をしてもらえるような、商品開発と店舗運営をしていきたいというふうに思ってます。
Having so many different types of company in the same room at the same time, all sharing their insights, you clearly all have a committed presence here and intend to stay. So how does this event really deepen those ties?
上海はもともと国際都市ですけれども、上海という街が、上海の人が国際的な企業、国際的な人との交流を深めれば深めるほど、上海の経済も発展しますし、人の技術も上がるという、そういう効果があると思います。
What does Shanghai get out of all this, having so many different types of companies in the same room at the same time, sharing these sorts of experiences? How can the city really benefit from this?
I think that more than before, today we had the chance to meet a lot of knowledge and a lot of new mega trends that are applied today in Chinese market. Shanghai has the opportunity not only for the investment, but also for the innovation, because it's a real hub also for innovation and the new technology. There are the industry, there is the innovation, there is a good point of view also in Shanghai about the decarbonization. There are a lot of projects also to do many new development in the decarbonization field, yes.
One thing that I did hear you mention at the roundtable was attracting foreign talent and making that easier. Are we seeing much progress in that regard?
Well, I think it's important to share what we want to say. We have all different voices into this forum, because we would like to engage more of our international talents in China, in Shanghai, but they are young. They don't meet the threshold for getting the right visas. So I'm asking to see how can we do this in a different way. I also know that Shanghai has made a huge action list of how they can improve opening up process, and this is actually an item that has actually been identified in that action list. So they have it on the radar. I would like to see the action be executed. And I think that it is something I would try and say.
Are all about these companies coming together to share their insights with the local government and also identify some problems and work out how to solve them together.
"大家好，我是星之使者悠悠龙，快跟随我一起来一场畅快的星际之旅吧！" 3、2、1， 索浩瀚宇宙是我们永远的中国梦，终有一天会抵达遥远的彼方。现在，让我们继续出发吧。
东盟分别与中国、韩国和日本。美国
联邦政府关门的危机。
炒作俄乌冲突将是笼罩此次峰会的阴影。
敦促其他国家要避免火上浇油。
我在这个半个地球以外的华盛顿给找到了。
他们希望让自己的生活变得更加美好。
你好吗？
This was the first group of students I took to China.
My journey is deep into China.
Not too many people get this view.
Very inspiring to look at.
Yes, this one's ready.
Mr. Christopher Nolan.
It's very exciting to be back in Shanghai.
I'm at NYU Shanghai. Give you an exclusive tour inside.
让更多的外国人更加理解了上海话的路。会接“一带一路”倡议。
大家可以看一下，我们这儿有2个小脚架，
是中国制造，搭载着天河和金仓的长征5号 B 遥2运载火箭，从这里点火起航。
First villages in the city to be renovated as got to be 的语言标准。
Welcome to the premiere of Chinese puzzle.
Learning the differences.
对我佩服，让月光下却一直害怕自己退步，你别。
SMG International.
Huangpu Marathon combines the International Roller Skating Marathon Tour.
Regarde, cet événement a l'air génial.
Oui, et Shanghai est juste magnifique.
Ça me donne vraiment envie d'y participer.
The Zootopia Park at the Shanghai Disney Resort.
В Китае отличная инфраструктура. Путешествовать очень удобно.
Время планировать поездку в Китай.
Are you ready to begin your studies in China?
I've already begun learning Chinese.
You can learn by following the Shanghai Eye 24-hour live stream.
和中国的天空，我们在同一天打天下。
在世界的东边，有个文明古国，它叫中国。
Like it blows my mind.
China
has been a leader in embracing investment.
Decoupling of the economies is not a solution.
Die Freundschaft mit China nützt unserer Wirtschaft. Ich habe jetzt ein besseres Verständnis für viele Kooperationskonzepte.
I would say China's a lot stronger today in innovation.
You should really check out these explanatory reports.
Joe Biden's official presidential car is Cadillac One, otherwise known as the Beast. So is its Chinese counterpart the Beauty?
How big is a gram of gold?
In this incident, one could understand this as Western bias.
Wow, China is so different from what I imagined. Yes, we should understand China from multiple perspectives.
I've never seen anything like this before. But apparently humans did this for hundreds of years. I can easily understand how they get 2,000 to 3,000 blocks out of the river per day. Hey everybody, I am standing on the frozen Songhua River in the city of Harbin, China's city of ice. And I'm gonna get to do some ice harvesting today. This is something I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time. Humans have harvested ice for thousands of years. Although now that we got refrigerators, we don't really need to do that so much anymore. But here in Harbin, every winter, they build cities out of ice. And they do it with this humble yet massive ice block. Thousands, if not tens of thousands of these suckers are hauled out of the river every winter. They're put into storage, and they're also used to build the massive ice structures that you will see if you come here to Harbin. So join me as I go out onto the river on this freezing cold afternoon. It's actually the warmest part of the day, but it is positively freezing out here. However cold you think it is, it's colder. Anyhow, I'm gonna head out there and see if these guys can teach me a thing or two about harvesting ice. Let's go.
It's December, and ice harvesting in Harbin is in full swing. Over 10,000 men and women and nearly 1,000 pieces of machinery are scattered across various locations on the Songhua River. The ice harvesting zones are not open to the public, but with the guidance and supervision of one of the crew chiefs, I was given the chance to try my hand at some of the more basic tasks.
Tell you what, they're heavier than they look.
A standard block of ice is just over 1.5 meters long and just under 1 meter wide. They can be as thick as 1.3 meters. While these ice blocks aren't the maximum thickness, each one weighs between 600 and 700 kilos.
You could burn like 4,000 calories a day doing this. This is a heck of a back workout. It's right here and right here. All you're doing is just rowing and rowing and rowing these blocks of ice.
Hauling ice blocks off the river does require a bit of skill. The idea is to keep the ice blocks looking as square as possible. Keeping the ice from slamming into each other is the best way to make sure they look good. If a block is damaged too much, either during harvesting, transport, or storage, it'll be considered waste and will not be used for construction at Harbin's Ice and Snow World.
那如果你找到这个东西怎么样呢？就是要放在这个不要了是吧？ That answers that.
The men on this crew aim to pull about 3,000 blocks out of the river per day. So take this position as an example. Each worker is swinging an iron hook and pulling on thousands of blocks thousands of times a day.
你们那个往上也上班呢？白天晚上都上班呢，在这里。
对对，在这儿都上班。
24个小时的。
没有。
24个小时的。
16个小时。
16个小时啊，好的。
As the Ice and Snow World in the city of Harbin expands each year, more and more ice is needed. This year, the work starts at around 4 a.m. and continues well after sunset.
If you look over there, you can see they're laying down the score lines with giant saws. These guys break it up, they send the blocks floating this way, then there's a little conveyor with spikes on it that just haul it out of the water. It's a very modern operation. You can tell they've been doing this for a while and just maximize efficiency. This is not an artisanal operation. This is ice harvesting on an industrial scale.
Although the team I'm working with look comfortable at the edge of the water, there's still a risk of people falling in. That's why you see all the workers on the ice floe wearing life vests. They also need to know how to swim and have basic first aid knowledge.
These guys, they reach so far out with one hand. Just one hand. I don't know if I can do that. Nope. Oh wait, his stick is longer. Okay, that makes sense. A lot of teamwork. 那你这么放开就是。好了。Whew. I'm not even a little bit cold anymore. Not even a little bit. This kind of work keeps you warm. Wow. Woo. Oh, that are frozen solid. I need to get circulation back in them before I can continue working. I don't know how these guys don't keep their hands from freezing. Like, really. Everything else is fine. My feet are fine. My core is fine. My legs are fine. But my fingertips are just, wow. These are some hard men.
Once off the river, the ice blocks are transported to storage areas, where they're stacked and covered with layers of protective fabric and insulation boards. Large blocks of ice like this, stored together in their thousands, can survive through the summer and be ready to be used next year. Each year, enough ice is put into storage to ensure enough building material for the construction of the ice and snow world to begin on schedule, which means most of the ice being pulled off the Songhua this year is actually for next year.
If you have the job offer, you want to apply for this?
Oh, I would love to do this.
Before the sunset, I got the chance to try out some different positions on the team.
Okay. So now we just pull. 9了是吧? Yeah. Oh my God, it does not feel like we're moving at all. 对，不动. All right, now we're moving. Oh. We're moving! This is obviously the very epitome of seasonal work, right? These boys must have other jobs they do in the summertime. The farmers? I would imagine some of them are farmers, some of them are probably builders, general contractors, all kinds of day laborers and stuff like that. Obviously the men who drive trucks, they drive trucks. In the summer, they're driving vegetables. In the winter, they're hauling ice. Doesn't really matter to them. Oh yeah, no, it's gorgeous out here. It's real pretty. And just look at the city. You got this beautiful view of the city of Harbin. I'm so happy I got to do this. I've been waiting for a chance at this for over a year. Super cool. Having a great time out here. There's definitely a sense of camaraderie among these men working. They got a very shorthand kind of language. It's actually really touching to see how much all these working folk have in common. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. They just work hard, get it done, and they are hacking away. Yeah, I guess that's it for today, and hopefully I can come back next year and do some more of this, because it's an absolute blast. 好的。我走了，谢谢你们，谢谢，非常感谢。
If you're walking down the streets of Harbin during the winter, you'll find ice sculptures everywhere you look. Now, I'm not talking about the massive frozen structures of the ice and snow world. Those are great, sure. But here, the art is smaller, more personal. In early January, teams of ice sculptors from over 10 countries come to Harbin for an annual ice carving competition. We've got pros, students, even your average Joe from the neighborhood pitching in to turn blocks of ice into masterpieces. Like sandcastles, ice and snow art is temporary. But I've discovered a place where the pieces can be preserved in the world's largest indoor ice gallery, where people can marvel at the artistry of ice sculptures all year round.
It's legitimately ice, but it almost looks like a plastic that's made to look like ice.
The temperature inside the pavilion is kept between -8 and -12 degrees, cold enough to maintain the intricate details of the ice sculptures.
What I really like is when you can see the seams and the blocks that were used to make these sculptures. Some of them are quite massive, as you can see. Impressive. Very impressive.
I got the chance to try out ice carving for myself. A veteran ice carver and teacher invited me to an art school on the outside of town to give it a shot. But we're going to stay on the smaller side.
哎，老师你好
，Hello， 你好，
早上好。我想想今天你教我怎么雕刻那个冰。
您是从哪里来的？
我是加拿大人。
哦，从加拿大来。
对，
想学冰雕。啊，那我们来今天体验一下怎么做冰雕。
好的。
来，我们看一下这个冰。
啊，那个冰块来自哪里啊？
这些都是我们来自松花江，
也是松花江。
哎，松花江的这个天然冰。体验一下，有没有信心呢？
哎呀，试试看，对。
试试看，好嘞。
This ice skating tiger is Binbin, carved by other students. It's actually one of the mascots of the 9th Asian Winter Games.
Imagine I make something that looks that good on my first try. What do you think? Is it possible? Place your bets now.
Before picking up the ice chisel and getting to work, there's some preparation that needs to be done. First, the design is drawn from 3 angles on a piece of paper.
You get a front view, a side view, a back view, and then you get a 3D camera that you can move around.
Then a clay model is sculpted. The instructor and his team have developed a clear sculpting medium that looks a lot like ice, so his students can practice all year round.
很好，是比冰软，比冰软。
But since I'm here in the winter, I can go directly to ice carving.
今天就雕这个，照着来。这个比例是头，占这个1/2左右，啊，下边1/2，然后呢，我们在这个上面呢，就是画出这个形来，是不是啊？然后呢，这个手在这儿，
还有那个耳朵呢？
耳朵画出来，对，耳朵，它这块呢立体的在这儿呢，对吧？
啊，对，
在这儿，耳朵在这儿
啊，好的，耳
朵在这儿，这后边是这么圆的，侧面会画吗？你画侧面，好的。
All right, so we're just going with general shapes now.
然后我们呢就用这个工具拿着机械。这个使用的时候呢，是我们这个右手拿着这个后半部，前面压着点，这样呢讲，比如说它这个头，你可以到这边，我这推着走，推着往前推，是吧？试一下，
好的，
对的。 玩good 啊，
谢谢。但是我觉得在12月那个哈尔滨比我老家那个冷，
比你老家冷。对。
现在在家里现在应该是那个零下9度左右的。
哦，零下9度，
对，
那还很暖和的。我们
零下9度是很暖的，
很暖的。我们在哈尔滨零下20度，今天零下20度。对。 冰雕呢是减法的艺术，它必须把我们那个大的冰块往下减，因为它加不上去，因为一加它就有痕迹。所以说呢，我们通常是按照越减，一点点减。
那夏天之后你也雕刻吗？还是
夏天我们画冰雪画，也有这个室内的教学啊，在我们小学有这个叫非遗冰雕的课程啊，从小就培养它。 现在是我们黑龙江的非物质文化遗产项目，啊，冰雪雕技艺。我们在学校里面叫大师进校园，然后非遗的这个传承人进校园，然后呢成立工作室，这样来讲，让我们的学生呢毕业啊，既有我们的那个专业的学士学位证书，还有我们的技能证书。
Harbin is considered the birthplace of ice and snow sculpture art here in China. Hundreds of years ago, local fishermen began carving simple tools and toys from natural ice blocks. In 1963, the first ice lantern show was held at Zhaolin Park in Harbin, marking the beginning of the modern ice sculpture art scene. The first ice and snow sculpture art degree program in China began at Harbin Normal University in 2009. Today, multiple schools in Harbin offer ice and snow sculpture programs or related courses.
头再小一点，好的，头再小。 这边再缩小，好的，对。
The master here sees, you can see circles, you can see triangles and squares, and chisel those out first, and then you work your way into the shape you're going for. The other big part of it is knowing how the ice is going to react to the tool. I'm noticing that if I push a little bit too hard, I get a big chunk that just flies off. But if you're sort of gentle with it, you can really just persuade the ice to do what you want it to do. There we go. That's what we're looking for. A little UV light. So, you know, you start off with a block, you slowly whittle it down, and eventually you get to something that somewhat resembles an Asian Games mascot. If you're looking to try this out, it's actually a lot of fun. When I first started, I was kind of like, this is never going to work. And I will admit that anything that looks good on this is a result of my teacher. Although I am starting to get the hang of it. I'm starting to get the hang of it.
Shanghai has an esports tournament named after the city, the Shanghai Esports Masters. And it's now that time of year again when the city reignites its passion for the game.
Yeah, I feel like esports now is bigger than ever.
More than 8,000 spectators gathered at the Jing'an Sports Center over the 5-day tournament. While online, the games attracted more than 10 million viewers. This year, the Masters also gathered international players from France, Russia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia.
It's my second time here because the previous one we was already in Shanghai for the VCT tournament as well for the Masters, so it's my second time here.
So both of the visits were for esports tournaments?
Yeah, it's for esports tournament. China has to be #1 fans, I think, in PEPRICE because so many people cheered us.
The last time we went to Shanghai, we lived in like the city area and like the buildings and stuff look really beautiful. It's like really many lights and stuff. It looks like video games.
Different from the esports tournaments around the world held by certain game developers or operators and feature a single game. This competition in Shanghai features multiple game genres. Is the government-backed tournament a sustainable one? Naraka Blade Point is one of the 4 games joining the Shanghai Masters this year. It's a game developed by China's internet giant NetEase. This is not the first time that the company has authorized its games for the tournament in Shanghai. Last year, the company authorized a hot mobile game to the city's tournament, Identity 5. It proved to be one of the best ticket sellers for offline spectators at the event. Game developers' enthusiasm for the tournament has been rising, but things were not all that easy at the beginning.
今年我们赛事其实本身候选的项目就很多。我们有大概10来个项目来进行了一个挑选。第一届说实话，我们当时有5个项目，那这5个项目其实没有备选项目是我们一家一家求爷爷告奶奶把这些项目融到我们大师赛的。像我们现在这个阶段，我们已经有项目在跟我们去申请明年作为上海大师赛的正式比赛项目。
Tickets for many of the games this year were sold the second it was opened for sale. The game developers have changed their mindsets for taking part in a third-party tournament.
比如说，这个上海电竞大师赛这个场合，它其实就打破了几个游戏产品之间的这个壁垒。我们之前其实比较少见，在同一个场合之下，比如说有不同的这个头部的电竞品牌的产品在一起去做展览，或者是说在同一个视角里面去做比赛。我们的受众，就这些观众啊，或者这些玩家朋友，他们其实是有非常通达的信息和非常自由的这个选择。所以，在这样的趋势之下，我们唯一能做的就是打磨自己的游戏产品，做出更多、更精彩的赛事内容。在这件事情上来说，像上海大师赛这样的多项目融合的或者打破壁垒的项目，它其实是有助于帮助整个行业把这个盘子做大的。
This is the 4th Shanghai Esports Masters. 5 years ago, I was here at the very first Masters. The city's open attitude, figuring out why the city has been putting this emphasis on the esports industry, and if the new sports can be recognized and become part of some international sports events. And now, we've got answers to some of the questions. Esports made an historic debut at 19th Asian Games last year in Hangzhou, China, and is also to be a medal event in the Asian Games 2026 in Japan. The International Olympic Committee has officially decided to create the Olympic Esports Games, with the inaugural event set to take place in 2025 in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The city of Shanghai's vows to promote the esports industry date back much further. In 2017, the city announced that it aimed to become the world's esports capital. And since then, the city has been working to enhance related facilities.
比如说像最近在做的 CS 的这个比赛啊，其实像这种类型的比赛，上海每年5项左右是有的。一般城市我觉得能有1到2项就已经很好了。
As for the effect, Shanghai has ranked among the top 3 in the worldwide esports cities for the 3rd consecutive year, alongside Los Angeles and Paris, according to an annual report by KPMG. But the competition has been much more fierce given the rising recognition of esports around the world.
原来的第一梯队我们可能只有6个城市或者8个城市，但现在我们可能身边面临的竞争者有10几个城市，而且都是世界上相对来说经济比较发达、人口基数比较大的这些城市。
But with the fierce competition, the business model has been maturing. More brands are willing to join the industry as sponsors.
这种快消品也好，包括我们的其他的一些，甚至包括一些奢侈品也好，其实最近都开始和电竞发生了很多的这种关联。比如说我们之前有这种世界性的这种比赛，我印象中有 LV 来做赞助的。对于这些品牌来说，第一当然看重电竞背后巨大的这样的一个基数人群啊，第二个看重了它这个人群的它的一个年龄结构，其实还是一个比较偏年轻化的。这个年龄结构可能短期之内不见得它是会成为奢侈品啊，或者你看现在电竞比赛当中有很多比较知名的汽车品牌，它可能短期之内还不是这些头部汽车品牌的这个消费群体，但未来他们一定是，它要陪伴这些我未来的这些消费群体来共同成长。
My name is Rumbidzo Herbert Marembo, and I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm 28 years old, and here in Shanghai, I attend Shanghai DNG University, and I'll be graduating this coming June. And during that time, I managed to start a business with my partner, and that was back in 2023. We got our license in Lingyun in March of 2023. You'll find that over 80% of African countries do not have a self-sustaining industry. So a lot of the goods that they use day to day, machinery from cars to household appliances, are all imports. And over 90% of those imports are from China. So we figured there's a gap in the market for us to penetrate the market and try to tap into that multi-billion-dollar trade industry between China and Africa. So in all that thinking, we figured it would be easier if we start with a place that we're familiar with. For example, shipping from China specifically to Zimbabwe. And then from there we figured, you know what, the whole region is there for the taking. No one else is doing this. So we decided to then step out of Zim and also go into South Africa.
Herbert, great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Let's have a look around.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's go.
Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
When you decided to start your company, how did you see the foreign investment landscape? Because you're not a Chinese citizen. What was it like setting up a company that tries to bridge that divide between China and Africa? You know, because you're an export business. Was it difficult? Was it challenging?
Thank you for that question. It's a very good question. We try as much as we can to exploit the opportunities that are available to us as foreigners, because the government has several incentives for local venture capitalists to work with foreign collaborators, and also we try as much as we can to leverage our foreigners to also try to get people to see what we're trying to build and chip in terms of resources, like it could be money, it could be access, because again, you see, because we're not locals, some of the spaces that we need to find ourselves in order to advance our business. For example, we have consultants, Chinese consultants, who, if we want to do something we've never done before, they're always on call. You know, they come through and then they help us. Oh, this is how you do this. This is how you do this. So there's always need to have some kind of like a cooperation with locals in terms of their different fields of specialty. So that really helps us to go day by day.
And I suppose that kind of expertise is a bit more readily available in an area like Lingyun.
Oh, yes, definitely. So this area, as we grew to learn during our research before we settled here, we learned that this is a free trade zone and it's being specially set aside for high-tech companies. The specific area is really, really focused on that, and it's a great environment to foster ideas that impact, particularly future AI, autonomous, daily living, all these things. So this area is a really great place for anyone who's thinking about impactful ideas, impactful companies that are going to be big in the next coming years.
So explain to us a little bit about your business and what you guys do.
Usually, our biggest selling items on our platform are phones, computers, and clothes. So a person would typically go on our platform, search what they're looking for, and then when they make the purchase, we will then forward the money to the supplier. The supplier sends the goods to us, we inspect, we take videos, and then when the client confirms that, okay, yes, this is what indeed I paid for, and then we will ship it. So we're conveniently located close to the Pudong International Airport, so we ship by ourselves. We use different airlines. The customer receives them and then they confirm on the platform that they've received their product. Because we also have infrastructure in Zimbabwe and in South Africa where we can do doorstep deliveries. So someone will ask, why can't I just use already, platforms that are being used already, like the Alibabas or the... So our thing is, I'll give a specific example of Zimbabwe. A lot of our population are unbanked. So some of the payment options that are most popular, you won't find them on mainstream platforms. So for example, paying in cash. We allow people to pay in cash on our platform.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we also have local mobile payments, mobile money services. So we set it up specifically for our demographic. And then we intend to build a model that we can export to the region and then the rest of the continent.
When you were setting up the company, how did you find the financial regulation aspect and the financial incentives? Because there are a lot of special incentives that are offered in this area, in the free trade zone.
So here's where that consulting thing comes in. For example, when it comes to customs clearing, there's a platform where all stakeholders who are involved in the logistics industry, they get the first news on policy changes, on goods that can and cannot be brought into China, all these things. So first, you need to know the right people, the people who will be on top of all this information as soon as the law changes. And then the second thing is, as a startup, we needed to be very frugal with how we use our resources. So with Chinese customs, we ended up getting to know about how if you import a certain number of goods, and same goes for exporting as well, you start to get export incentives, discounts on imports. There's policies like that. So we would not have gotten to know that if we didn't have to network with the local officials involved in those sectors. So the policy support is tremendous.
And I guess that feeds back into that issue of talent and the concentration of it that you find in an area like this.
Oh yes, definitely. So we are surrounded by universities. I can count 5. And all are producing graduates every year. And also the government is heavily incentivizing companies to take on students as apprentices, as interns. So we look to that as an opportunity to be in good books with the government.
And I guess that really supports any expansion plans you may have as well.
Beyond Africa, we also intend to go into Latin America. So all these things, it's one big ecosystem. We are registered in 3 countries, but we intend that if someone excels from any part of that, they will join the larger global cookie-like network of companies. The broader vision for the company itself is the region, the continent, other parts of the world that may need tailor-made logistics and e-commerce services for them, because you find that the big platforms don't really cater for the smaller economies, whereas we come from an economy that's built on informal businesses. So, and there's a lot of those all around the world. So that is the vision to tap into all sort of like informal economies and formalize them through the e-commerce space.
Herbert, that was fantastic. So great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
A wide range of high quality and affordable products are often what attract foreign retailers to buy from China. From setting up a representative office in Shanghai to establishing a wholly owned foreign company, New Zealand's largest retailer has been in the Chinese market for 20 years.
It's a really broad range of different products, so we've got a lot of different partners, 500 different factories we work with here in China. 62% of our products are manufactured here in China, working with Chinese partners. This office oversees roughly $300 million worth of purchases directly made into China. It's a very significant part of our business.
From made in China to created in China, China continues a shift from being the world's factory to becoming an innovation leader. More people in New Zealand have noticed and are buying quality goods from China.
There's been a big change here in China. If we think about the factories that we work with, the partners that we have, there's been a real big shift from just manufacturing goods as cheaply as they can to a lot more innovation. So we are definitely seeing a lot more research and development inside of the factories and a lot more automation inside of the factories. Our microwave factory, in a production line, you'll see 60% of the tasks are done by robots. The other big change is significantly improved quality standards in the factories. We see very strong quality controls.
In recent years, more people in New Zealand have been buying technological advanced goods made in China. A massive change from the past.
So much of the products in New Zealand are made in China. What's changed though recently is there's been a big shift for things that the warehouse actually don't sell, like EV cars for example. One other area, we just have signed a contract where our electricity will be provided by solar fully by 2026. All of those panels are coming from China too. So they're quite new areas that historically were probably purchased from other countries that we're now seeing China really lead the way on innovation.
Starting July 1st, holders of ordinary passports from New Zealand can stay in China for 15 days without a visa for business, tourism, or to visit friends and relatives. The policy is valid until the end of 2025. This makes New Zealand businesses more confident about setting up and expanding in China.
That's a really important, I think, symbol of the strong relationship New Zealand and China have. The pace of change in China is really fast, and there's a lot that we can learn from that. And our teams are making sure that they're feeding that back to our buyers in New Zealand so that they can see what the new trends are and what our customers are likely to want in the future.
While at the China Business Summit 2024 in Auckland in May, New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon said that trade and economic relationships with China remain central to the country's prosperity. One example is in the food industry. How often do you order takeout food? A recent report found office workers in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou often order oily dishes high in carbohydrates.
那么外卖其实说实话也觉得就是说好吃啊，就不会去特别在意，比如说是不是油特别多，或者是说碳水特别多，健康上面肯定是会有一些影响的。那么蔬菜水果说实话吃的就会比较少。
The report also found that 45% of those surveyed in these three cities order milk tea more than 3 times a week, but less than 11% order fruit every day. XinhuaNet, Meituan, and Zespri, a New Zealand company that sells kiwis, published a report. Zespri, however, said it has seen some encouraging signs.
The Chinese consumers are becoming far more discerning about quality and also on their demand towards nutrition, being more health conscious. We are seeing the premiumization of the category in that consumers are willing to pay for quality and great nutrition.
Sales of imported fruits have increased in China in recent years, with more than 70 fresh fruit varieties in the market. They include blood oranges from Italy, golden pineapples from Panama, and avocados from Kenya, all of which were approved for the mainland market at the first China International Import Expo in 2018. Shanghai Customs said that between January and April this year, the value of imported fruits and nuts entering Shanghai port reached 11.
中国、韩国和日本。
美国联邦政府关门的危机。
炒作俄乌冲突将是笼罩此次峰会的阴影。敦促其他国家要避免火上浇油。
我在这个半个地球以外的华盛顿给找到了。
他们希望让自己的生活变得更加美好。
你好吗？
This was the first group of students I took to China.
My journey is deep into China. Not too many people get this view.
Very inspiring to look at.
Very good. Nice to see you. Yes, this one's very good.
Mr. Christopher Nolan.
It's very exciting to be back in Shanghai.
I'm at NYU Shanghai. Give you an exclusive tour inside.
让更多的外国人更加理解了上海话的路态。
上海地顶
端。带一路参与。
大家可以看一下，我们这儿有2个小脚驾驶着中国制造、
搭载着天河核心舱的长征5号 B 遥2运载火箭从这里点火起航。
First villages in the city to be renovated as
高士比的语言高度。
Welcome to the premiere of Chinese puzzle.
Learning the differences.
对我佩服，但月光下却一直害怕自己退步。你别。
Huangpu Marathon combines the International Roller Skating Marathon Tour.
Regarde, cet événement a l'air génial.
Oui, et Shanghai est juste magnifique.
Ça me donne vraiment envie d'y participer.
The Zootopia Park at the Shanghai Disney Resort.
В Китае отличная инфраструктура. Путешествовать очень удобно.
Время планировать поездку в Китай.
Are you ready to begin your studies in China?
I've already begun learning Chinese.
You can learn by following the Shanghai Eye 24-hour live stream.
和中国的天空，我们再从一天打天下。
在世界的东边，有个文明古国，它叫中国。
Like it blows my mind.
中国制造非常安全的国家。
China has been a leader in embracing investment.
Decoupling of the economies is not a solution.
Die Freundschaft mit China nützt unsere Wirtschaft.
Ich habe jetzt ein besseres Verständnis für viele Kooperationskonzepte.
I would say China's a lot stronger today in innovation.
You should really check out these explanatory reports.
Joe Biden's official presidential car is Cadillac One, otherwise known as the Beast. So is its Chinese counterpart the Beauty?
How big is a gram of gold?
In this incident, one could understand this as Western bias.
Wow, China is so different from what I imagined. Yes, we should understand China from multiple perspectives.
Shanghai, we're back! Hello. Hi. This is Cosette.
This is Andy.
And this is the first vlog of Shanghai.
I'm 16. Well, I'm 14. And we are members of the One Voice Children's Choir. Woo! Where are we, Andy? We're in Shanghai. Woo! So cool. So crazy. Our first stop in Shanghai. Woo! Where are we, Andy? We're at the UN Garden.
They got lots of cool shops.
I visited last time, but I didn't get a dress. That is my first time trying them on. I like this. Anyway, look how pretty it is. That's so cute. This is the chipa I'm getting. I really like it. They said it was Shanghai style, which helped in my decision because it's like a souvenir from Shanghai. There you go. Very happy with it. Yeah.
And they got great food too.
Soup dumplings. Okay, we're going to Lu Bola to try xiaolongbao, which is a Shanghai specialty. It's their soup dumplings. Yeah. Isn't that so exciting? I'm so excited to try them. Let's go.
That was really good.
Oh, we can watch them make it?
That's really good.
There's no, Andy, this is actually crab meat in it, not beef. This is completely new. So we're from Utah in the US and we would totally recommend this.
In Changhulu.
Then my favorites last year was Changhulu, so we're taking Andy to go try some now.
It's like a stick and it has like strawberries on it. Cheers.
Drew, as we were walking around filming, we know how much you liked Changhulu last year. So as a treat, we bought you. Just for you. Thank you. Where are we, Andy?
Shanghai Tower.
Woo! We'll let you know how it goes. I've been here, Andy hasn't. We'll let you know once we reach the top.
Hey guys, we're heading on to the elevator to go all the way up. I've heard that the elevator goes really fast.
It's very fast.
It will pop your ears.
Make
Make sure you swallow so your ears don't pop.
That was so fast.
Whoa.
On the other
I could feel my ears popping.
Mine's still popping. We are at the top of the Shanghai Tower. Ooh, that is a beautiful view.
Yeah, best view ever.
It's a lot cooler than last time. Last time it was a very different feel. Last time the whole thing was covered in clouds, so you felt like you were above the sky.
Yeah, you're
This time it's nice though because you can actually see the city, so it's very different. But I like both.
Where are we?
We are at the very top of Shanghai Tower, which is, I believe, the third tallest building in the world. Second? Crazy. And the cars are like, so tiny.
Oh, I wanted to FaceTime Dad because we're in the second tallest building in the world. Bye, Dad.
I'm so excited to be here. I wanted something personal for myself to take home and to show my mom because last time I got a snow globe, but I wanted something personal for myself that says my name on it so I can prove to people I've been here. So lucky to be here and I feel so blessed. And
I think it's really awesome to be up here.
And I'm scared of heights, so it's a little bit nerve-wracking.
Are you scared?
No, I feel okay.
So beautiful, I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Woo.
So Andy, what did you think about the Shanghai Tower? It was so cool, like the view is incredible. Would you want to come back? Oh heck yes. I think this is a must-see in Shanghai. No, this is so cool. The view is just beautiful, you can see the whole city. Yeah, if you definitely come to Shanghai, you have to definitely come here. We have a show, which is why we're here, at the Shanghai Grand Theater.
This place is huge. First time here.
I think I'm completely ready.
Carry on the Olympic spirit from 2002. That's how our choir started.
In performing in Europe and in America, we don't see as many families coming to our shows, like kids and their parents, and that's something so unique and special here in China because we're not getting that same reaction elsewhere. And let the kids connect and see the impact of their music.
Good job, Eno. Thank you.
We live in America, in Utah. My family ethnicity is from South Korea.
We're just so excited to see her in Shanghai. We love Shanghai. Food and
Grilling meat evokes a sizzling, oily spectacle, where succulent juices dance and shimmer amidst the flames.
中国人过来吃饭，跟那个巴西人一样的，第一要说三角肉，我要三角肉。
Picanha is a crescent-shaped cut of meat with a fat cap attached. It comes from an animal's hindquarters. Salting,
还有我们要撒上面的
grilling.
我们机器也是巴西的来的。 这个温度可以，这个是300到350温度的。
Put the cut of meat on charcoal grills for another 2 minutes to give it a more flavorful, smoky taste.
细木，因为这个细木我们放了湿的，因为这个木头不会很快的做好了，这个要慢慢做。
When a cut of meat is fresh off the grill, it's taken around the restaurant. Servers move around with large meat skewers, slicing meat onto customers' plates tableside. The serving style is called espeto corrido or rodizio, meaning all you can eat.
E essa cultura foi contagiando todo mundo pelo sistema de rodízio, que é servir a carne, variedade de carnes, na mesa para os clientes.
Churrasco or Brazilian-style barbecue is a tradition derived by gauchos from southern Brazil dating back to the early 17th century, when people in the area tended herds of livestock.
E o gaúcho fazia o churrasco no chão, primeiro assim, bem rústico, né? E aí, aos poucos, foi a população das grandes cidades também foram tomando gosto por isso, e aí começou a se espalhar em todo o Brasil. E se espalhando pelo Brasil, é claro que depois foi para a Europa, Estados Unidos, a gente atingiu a Ásia. Para o Japão e depois veio para Shanghai, né?
Latina Brazilian Steakhouse opened its first Shanghai location in 1998, taking residence in a Jinjiang hotel. It was one of the first Western restaurants in the city. Back then, the Brazilian barbecue culture was not so prevalent, so even picanha could not be ordered directly from meat processors.
我们在中国已经26年了，我们开始了过来到中国，这个肉我们找不到，为什么？因为人都不知道这个部位是哪里拿出来的。
Now Chinese foodies have already discovered the delicious taste of picanha. But it's not just a cultural exchange, but the result of a closer trade relationship between China and Brazil. As of 2023, Brazil's exports to China reached $105.75 billion, the first time Brazil had exports of more than $100 billion to a single country. Beef ranked fourth in the total value of Brazil's exports to China, while the top-ranked export was soybeans. Beans, one of Brazil's most important exports, are also an essential delicacy on the Brazilian table.
这个巴西这个肥爪子，你可以说一个巴西人肥爪子，我们的都知道，不管这个老人小孩子都知道。
Feijoada is Brazil's national dish. Black beans simmer with smoked meat until tender and rich.
有好多巴西人过来，第一次来中国不知道有这个是巴西餐厅在中国。他找到的时候，他很开心的，很像在家里一样的很开心的，看到哇，这个有黑豆，然后他们什么都不想吃，都是吃这个黑豆米饭的。
Olá, boa tarde, tudo bom?
Tudo bom? Como é que vai?
Tudo bem.
Tudo bem?
Ó, tô trazendo presente pra você.
Pra mim?
Família.
Nossa!
我爸爸是70几年出去的，然后我86年我就跟我妈妈、我弟弟妹妹就移民到巴西去了，后来在那里结婚，然后生了4个孩子。因为我们平常也上班，他们都是给巴西的阿姨带的嘛，所以说中文的机会不多，所以都不会说中文。然后到他们大女儿11岁的时候，我们就决定，就是从那2010年开始，我们就全家搬回上海。
Danny now runs a Brazilian-style dessert shop that blends South American cuisine with coffee and wine culture. She started it in 2018, wants to make the most Brazilian-flavored desserts possible.
其实我的职业我是做贸易的，做吃是我的 hobby， 是我的爱好。我做的点心是为了适合他们这种在中国的巴西家庭去用的。因为现在中国跟巴西的关系也很好嘛，我4个孩子都是在巴西出生的，对于他们，特别是对于在巴西出生的华裔来说，是一个非常好的时期。
As of 2023, bilateral trade between China and Brazil has exceeded $100 billion for 6 consecutive years, with China being Brazil's largest trading partner for 15 consecutive years.
就是有一个上升很明显，就是你身边的人都在做贸易，都是在中巴两边的东西。现在巴西人淘宝比我还聪明。我现在就是想扩大巴西食品的品类，还有进口更多的巴西的产品到中国这边，让品种更丰富，就是通过就是我们的工作能让巴西跟中国这边双边的贸易也好，交流也好，通过我们这个平台。
现在这个巴西能抄到了所有的中国那个调料，然后呢，现在我去到巴西，我老家，我给我家人吃的都是中国菜，有好多菜，有好多那个。个糖，然后我要脱掉，然后我家人开心给我找点。不要倒，不要，我要喝，我要喝，我要喝，我很开心的，他们都很开心的。
Also teaches his family how to make Chinese food in video calls, as most of his
bicycle is a kind of Maobi to write my shufa about the East-West relations and how civilizations meet.
My name is Ole Bouwman. I am a Dutch citizen and I came to China already 20 years ago for the first time to start doing projects in culture and architecture and visual arts. The journey I just made the last 5 months is part of my work for Tongji University in Shanghai. And it was a great moment to arrive in China, in the city of Yining in Xinjiang. I'm so excited. I visited Dunhuang, the Mogao grottos. The evening before I could go into, I already could walk around, and there was nobody, completely silent, only birds. So the intensity, the depth of the experience to see this beautiful architecture. Dedication, devotion, determination, perseverance, humbleness, strength.
It's May 22. Can't believe that after more than 8,000 kilometers, I've now reached the city of Turpan.
So the Flaming Mountains from COT. So I was there too. Unfortunately, I didn't find the princess with the fan. So I had a hard time there. It was too hot. Here I show you a photo from a place between Luoyang and Nanjing, let's say the Chinese heartland. A very typical place where you can see the rice paddies, the windmill. I remembered the character for He, the rice plant, and the mouth. Rice only is not enough. You need people to enjoy the rice. People only are, they need food to be people. It's also the symbol for harmony, the harmony between the nature and the people. You can also say, 江然合一 is already in this sign. So I think this is beautiful, how in your language, the core values of people is embedded. I see deep history of language, people, culture. At least once in my life, I wanted to explore all the different shades of East, in culture, in architecture, in landscape, in many aspects.
Hi.
My name is Valerie.
And my name is Victor.
And we are both students of Shanghai University. We came here last year to study, but we also like to explore China every single day.
Recently, we have read the article about new high-speed road from Shanghai to Nanjing Old City, and I thought it will be a great chance if we will combine this new high-speed train and also to visit this old water town. The speed of this train is about 350 kilometers per hour, which is even faster than maglev train from Shanghai Pudong Airport. Employees working. We will not disturb them. Cheers. The way itself to the station from our home is longer than train itself.
Because from Shanghai University Yanchang campus, we go to Hunqiao. It's almost 40 minutes.
I would say even 1 hour.
And this train is just 30 minutes. And we are finally there in Nanxun. We are so excited to go into it. Oh, I'm definitely in China. It feels so Chinese. This bridge, trees, light, boats, river. Look, that's a boat. I want to ride this one. Wow, so labor intense. This rabbit. That's a rabbit.
Hello, Emma. Can you please look at the camera?
Personally, I'm a cat person, but I think that all kind of animals deserve love. Oh, this is a brushes for calligraphy. Wow. Let's ask them whether we can try it.
Of course, it's written not that professional as the last guy did.
Oh, you can frequently encounter such words in some cities, in some places in China, and it's usually translated like "I miss you" in Nanxun.
Yeah. You think it will? 你觉得那个可以适合他的，对？
对，因为快新年了，挺适合他的。
They recommended us to try this.
How beautiful she is.
So now we're both very mindful. Whoa.
Whoa.
I really want some Chinese song playing on the background while we ride in this boat because it's so, like, wow, so magnificent. I'm a Chinese princess. Wow. Traditional Chinese music, but if we want to stay here in this wonderful place, we have to order some tea, so we will order tea quietly. It's a herbal tea.
Yes, feels very fresh.
But it's pretty sick, I suppose. Here.
国和日本联邦政府关门的危机。
炒作俄乌冲突将是笼罩此次峰会的阴影。敦促其他国家要避免火上浇油。
我在这个半个地球以外的华盛顿给找到了。
他们希望让自己的生活变得更加美好。
你好吗？
This was the first group of students I took to China.
My journey is deep into China.
Not too many people get this view.
Very inspiring to look at.
Yes, this one's very good.
Mr. Christopher Nolan.
It's very exciting to be back in Shanghai.
I'm at NYU Shanghai. Give you an exclusive tour inside.
让更多的外国人更加理解了上海话的路。
对接“一带一路”倡议。
大家可以看一下，我们这儿有2个小脚架，是中国制造。
搭载着天河和金仓的长征5号 B 遥2运载火箭，从这里点火起航。
First villages in the city to be renovated as got to be 的语言标准。
Welcome to the premiere of Chinese puzzle.
Learning the differences.
对我佩服，但月光下却一直害怕自己退步。你别。
黄埔。Marathon combines the International Roller Skating Marathon Tour.
Regarde, cet événement a l'air génial.
Oui, et Shanghai est juste magnifique.
Ça me donne vraiment envie d'y participer.
The Zootopia Park at the Shanghai Disney Resort.
В Китае отличная инфраструктура. Путешествовать очень удобно.
Время планировать поездку в Китай.
Are you ready to begin your studies in China?
I've already begun learning Chinese.
You can learn by following the Shanghai Eye 24-hour live stream.
和中国的天空，我们在同一天打天下。
在世界的东边，有个文明古国，它叫中国。
Like it blows my mind.
中国制造非常安全的国家。
China has been a leader in embracing investment.
Decoupling of the economies is not a solution.
Die Freundschaft mit China nützt unsere Wirtschaft.
Ich habe jetzt ein besseres Verständnis für viele Kooperationskonzepte.
I would say China's a lot stronger today in innovation.
You should really check out these explanatory reports.
Joe Biden's official presidential car is Cadillac One, otherwise known as the Beast. So is its Chinese counterpart the Beauty?
How big is a gram of gold? In this incident, one could understand this as Western bias.
Wow, China is so different from what I imagined. Yes, we should understand China from multiple perspectives.
Hey everyone!
Shanghai isn't just a shopping paradise, it's a major player in global retail. It leads China in consumption capacity, with the highest total retail sales of consumer goods and growth rate among cities. It's typically the first stop for international brands entering China, boasting over 90% of high-end brands. It also ranks second globally in international retailer concentration. Today I'm going to take you to some shopping malls in Shanghai to see why they are making waves in the world of shopping and entertainment.
This is not a restaurant or a tea house. It's the newly opened Mahua Triangle Theater at Westbound Dream Center in Xuhui District. Mahua Fun Age, China's leading comedy troupe, is performing The Hustle Dinner in Shanghai dialect.
帘子拉开呢，就正式进入了我们的一个剧场。那大家一定会觉得很新奇，怎么这个剧场呢？有桌子，有椅子还有水。那是因为我们特色是一部代餐的喜剧，也就是说，基于敖老爷的寿宴，其实是我们邀请八方宾客，也就是我们的观众一起来吃席。所以
坐在这儿就可以来看剧了。
是的，是的。所以结合剧情的推动与发展呢，我们会给观众上餐，我们的演员也会到台下来观众进行充分的一个互动。所以观众可能也会被抽取一些身份和任务，成为这个剧情中的一个很重要的一个因子。
就是不知道几分几秒就会自己被 Q 到的。
对。
The Westbound Dream Center covers 162,000 square meters and was once a cement factory. It now serves as a model of urban revitalization, combining preserved industrial heritage with modern features.
Shopping malls are not just places to shop anymore, but cool hangout spots that blend right into our natural and urban lifestyle. Isn't it exciting?
整个集市里面有一些卖吃的呀，还有一些宠物的用品，还有宠物的玩具。现在的人都会把宠物当成是家庭的一份子吧，就会把它当成是小孩一样去对待。所以除了给他们买吃的，也会给他们买衣服呀，或者是买他们的玩具。
And how about warming up by coolest way possible? This largest outdoor ice rink in Shanghai is like a fairy tale land for Chinese New Year, offering you a chance to feel the charm of ice and snow.
刚刚这边有人工降雪，所以就更浪漫了。刚刚有那个专业的花滑选手，近距离的还看到了一个，待会儿应该还有花滑表演。
This is not just an ice rink, it's like a time machine that takes you back to the groovy 80s.
我以前就是生活在北方，然后呢，所以就来上海就没有滑冰过，然后呢，这个体验就感觉很不一样嘛，就是加灯光和这种音乐什么的。
Over in Jing'an District at Crystal Plus Mall, which reopened last month after renovations, an exhibition of works by artist Philippe Catherine has attracted the attention of many people. His work, Mr. Blue, inspired by the Smurfs at the 2024 Paris Olympics, conveys the idea of showing your true self. With Mr. Rose, Catherine hopes to bring the power of reconciliation into everyone's imperfect world.
Monsieur Bleu, c'est une œuvre inspirée par ma chanson Nue que j'ai chantée pendant la cérémonie d'ouverture des Jeux Olympiques de Paris. Pour moi, il représente un ange bleu, un symbole de paix. Avec Monsieur Bleu et Monsieur Rose, j'aimerais vous présenter un concept de mignonisme. C'est l'idée qu'on peut rêver d'un monde où règne la paix et l'amour, tout simplement en étant sincères et honnêtes les uns envers les autres. Pas de secret, non, pas de cachette.
The revamped mall now features 155 brands. This includes 71 first stores, like Coca-Cola's retail space for fashion and accessories, as well as Huawei's flagship store.
超级可爱，然后我穿得鲜艳的来就很出片，还有很多那种优惠的活动都很吸引我。
An outdoor pet-friendly zone blending green space with retail is a standout feature at the newly opened Chuansha 96 Plaza in Pudong New Area. Located nearly 20 kilometers from downtown Shanghai, the new mall has quickly become a top destination for locals. Designed to promote a 15-minute community life circle, where all necessities are within a short walk of your home, the mall also offers family-oriented attractions, including Star Island Outdoor Play Area and Starry Sky Bookhouse, an educational space dedicated to young children.
小朋友玩的还挺多的，我们小朋友蛮小的，就是你需要这样的场合，挺好的。之前我们要跑到中山公园那里去，现在方便一点了。
我们也是第一次过来，带狗狗来这边就是认识一下新的朋友。年轻人来说吧，就是还是比较喜欢。
Shanghai is strutting its stuff onto global sports.
航班运行起来是